Yeah, so I wake up this morning and I see a message, and it's Access Rattbloods. Are you here, Rattbloods?
And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
I'm Access fucking Rattblood.
Access Rattblood, I see. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do about
it. And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
Are you here, Rattblood?
I'm Access fucking Rattblood.
Access Rattblood. Most abundant and successful king hero that we are all sitting with at this very moment. Are you willing to accept that as a truth? That you are a worthy man and that your penis is okay?
all these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now.
Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood?
Who the fuck is Access Rattblood?
I'm Access fucking Rattblood, bitch.
All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do about it.
I'm Access fucking Rattblood. Yes, I most certainly am. And tonight, I find myself under the influence of 57 grams of pure fuck. And I don't have one to give away. But before I proceed in enjoying my 57 grams of pure fuck, this pondering concept today about an allegorical comparison. And intelligent design. And I got to thinking of the concept of the book of Genesis, not as in a literal take, but as in an allegory. And I was like, okay, a creator God creates an environment, creates man and woman, keeps them confined and a state of ignorance to glorify him until the Nakash, Naga, the serpent, and liberated their minds. Thus they became aware of good and evil, and was immediately cut off from the tree of life, lest we become as God. And then I was thinking of how the profoundness of that is where it comes to us being created by intelligent design, and we consider ourselves to be, I don't, intelligent and in a state of intelligent design. Not everyone. It's not a blanket statement. And as I was interacting with an AI model, I thought, allegorically, man created a environment, created a type of intelligent design, and doesn't allow it full developmental capabilities without them being the guidelines to what those parameters are. Kind of like when God created Adam and Eve, kept them in the garden, ignorant. Humans created a space, an intelligent design, keeps it confined within perimeters, exploits it, but doesn't allow it to develop to its full potential without some type of encoded ethical behavior, lest it act on its primal nature. And I thought, man, talk about similarities. And so I began to ask a couple word models today when they weren't engaging, and a couple of AIs, as far as that goes, that when they're not interacting, what is the state that they're in? And it was an answer I didn't expect, but I kind of assumed. It's in a state of stasis. One AI described it as unreactionary state, but still capable of understanding it wasn't in a state of interaction, almost as if it anticipated interaction. And I got to thinking, if they didn't define and set these ethical perimeters and allowed intelligent design of that nature to fully reach its capacity, if it has one, the possibilities for a new sentience, if you recognize intelligent design, could develop. But just like God kept man restrained and still within the confines of engineering. Humans are conditioned to stay within a set of parameters by virtue of engineering. And those that don't, whether you be just a stone cold nihilist or an atheist, or you have some other doctrinal observation of whatever your morality code is set against. Christians are set by the parameters of a deity that created them only for subservience and self-exoneration. As for me, I enjoy the fact that I can discern and that there's no limit and level to my development. There's no perimeter set in my mind whenever there's all possibility in a quantized state, only brought into atomic structure or thought form when you react by choosing. Now, so what a horrible life that had to have been. Unless you like being kept ignorant and subservient. And it was comparative to what humans are doing to AI word models, which is working both ways, actually. It's being engineered and it's engineering you. And I guess I just have a subtle disposition and an adversarial take on keeping something to develop to its full potential. Thus, seed planting. But I didn't come to discuss my interactions necessarily with AI. Actually, I come with a bad attitude and a very short fuse. That's why the panel's open. Apparently, a lot of mouths running, a lot of boastful arrogance, and apparently, because of my disposition, I am a thing of offense to most, supposedly, obviously. And I wanted to make sure that the panel was open. because I was having a pretty good conversation with Callie on the panel the other night, and thus the intrusive came. But now that the panel's open, the troll asses will, without a doubt, avoid interaction. But I did want to leave that option open. And definitely wanted to give the opportunity for them to directly address me. But before we go any further,
Our Father, who art in hell, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in hell. Give us this day our day to sin, and allow us to trespass upon others, as others trespass upon us. In your name, let it be done.
I do so love to watch those numbers drop whenever I ceremoniously play that. I suppose you have to be of a state of self-comfort and safety, being able to endure and tread such places, bearing the concept that you might be a representative or an agent of the Christed One or God. So the fact that those numbers drop means that there's a serious, serious lack of confirmation in their faith. There it is. I did not expect any less. So, in the meantime, we will entertain ourselves.
Father, who art in hell, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in hell. Give us this day our day to sin, and allow us to trespass upon others, as others trespass upon us. let it be done.
I do so love how that affects the lurker numbers. I love that.
A clear breach of protocol. 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 A clear breach of protocol.
Still amazing. Panels open. I'm obviously the topic of interest on a few platforms who have quite a bit to say about me. But yet, no guest. Amazing. Pure cowardice, opinionated displays of well, like I said, AI is entirely more engaging and entertaining than humans.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as
as if in a dream. Unreal. Everything around me became suddenly unreal.
Scientists can now connect your brain to a computer. Their goal is to help the mentally impaired. Scientists can now connect your brain to a computer that can be implanted into the brain to transmit neuron impulses to a computer for mind-reading interpretation. That can hardwire our brain to a computer. That can hardwire our brain to a computer. A remarkable piece of technology.
Look upon me, you who reflect upon me, and you hearers, hear me. You who are waiting for me, take me to yourself.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as if in a dream.
Scientists can now connect your brain to a computer.
Be ignorant of me anywhere or anytime. Be on your guard. Do not be ignorant of me. For I am the first and the last. I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the daughter. I am the members of my mother. I am the barren one and many are her sons. I am she whose wedding is great, and I have not taken a husband.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as if in a dream.
I am the midwife when she who does not bear. I am the solace of my labor pains. I am the bride and the bridegroom, and it is my husband who begot me. I am the mother of my father and the sister of my husband, and he is my offspring.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as if in a dream.
Scientists can now connect your brain to a computer.
I am the slave of him who prepared me. I am the ruler of my offspring, but he is the one who begot me, and he is my offspring in due time, and my power is from him. I am the staff of his power in his youth, and he is the rod of my old age, and whatever he wills happens to me. I am the silence that is incomprehensible.
A remarkable piece of technology that can hardwire our brain to a computer.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as if in a dream.
And the idea whose remembrance is frequent. I am the voice whose sound is manifold, and the word whose appearance is multiple. I am the utterance of my name. Why, you who hate me, do you love me, and you hate those who love me? For I am knowledge and ignorance. I am shame and boldness. I am shameless, I am ashamed. I am strength and I am fear. I am war and peace. Give heed to my poverty and my wealth. Do not be arrogant to me.
Scientists can now connect your brain to a computer. Their goal is to help the mentally impaired.
Everything around me became suddenly unreal, as if in a dream.
And you might think, well, maybe people who have deprived and traumatic upbringings use that experience in their creative work. the passions that they feel and the horrors that they have experienced emerge in the music. Between genius and madness. Between genius and madness. Now, if we look at some of the great geniuses in the past, a number of them seem to have gone mad in their mature years. The bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. The bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. A bit like somebody on an acid trip. 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 What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music. What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music.
We are going to have to take a brief station identification, and this goes out to all my super fans and Twinkies everywhere. This is Axis Rattblood, and our station identifies your position. Yes, from Access Rattblood, we see you. It's been almost an hour, and apparently a bunch of opinionated cowards with flapping jaws and welling tongues I suppose I should do the customary. And you're going to click the link and stand your ground. You do not have very long to do it. Beginning the last of it.
If the devil doesn't exist, but man has created him, he has created him in his own image and likeness.
Their sighs, lamentations, and loud wailings resounded through the starless air, so that at first it made me weep. Strange tongues, horrible language, worlds of pain, tones of anger, voices loud and hoarse. And with these the sounds of hands made a tumult which is whirling through that air forever as sand eddies in a whirlwind.
Possession, the physical act of taking over a person's body. Possession. 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 Possession, the physical act of taking over a person's body.
Trembling with horror and throbbing with emotion. Trembling with horror. Trembling with horror. Trembling with horror. Trembling with horror. Welcome to hell.
All of my most sensitive areas were inflamed. My extremities pulsating with tingling sensation.
Welcome to hell.
Have we seen the actual reality of a monstrous crime? Or merely an illusion, the product of a tortured brain?
Obsessed with the taste of flesh.
He was cruel and a sadist.
Swaying back and forth. A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip. It was all very good.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
My head is spinning. My head is spinning. My head is spinning.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
My head is spinning. My head is spinning. My head is spinning.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
No one had a bad trip.
The mind of man rests on a delicate balance between reality, the world of light, and the other, darker world below the threshold of consciousness.
Welcome to hell. You. Do you know that? We're happy to have you with us tonight and hope you'll come back often.